Hey, what's up? It's Steve with the Range Minded Podcast with another tactical tip. Today, we're going to talk about handgun maintenance, everybody's favorite. Before we even talk about handling a gun, we got to talk about the 4 fundamental firearm safety rules. First of all, we're going to treat every gun like it's loaded all the time, no exceptions. Because we're going to treat it like it's loaded, we're never going to point that gun at something that we're not willing to destroy. We're going to keep our finger off the trigger outside the trigger guard until we've made that decision to fire. And then we want to know what our target is and what's beyond. We got to know where those bullets end up. Even though we're not talking about shooting in this video, we still got to maintain those safety rules because those are core principles we have to maintain as a gun owner. So please commit those to memory. All right, so we've had a great range day. We've come home. It's time to clean our favorite handgun. What are the steps that we need to take? All right, very first thing is we need to maintain that there is absolutely no way that we're going to get hurt, right? That's safety is the number one priority. So if I have magazines in my gun, I'm going to get rid of those magazines. I don't want any ammunition anywhere around me. So let's just say I've got to that point. I've cleared my gun. Okay, I've physically and visually inspected that there's no way that this gun is loaded. Okay, then we're going to do something called a field strip. I know some of you already know what that is, but we're going to do it here. Now, some folks hate Glocks for how they field strip because you have to depress that trigger. Other companies like Smith & Wesson and Springfield, I don't think Springfield does anymore, you don't have to depress that trigger. Okay, so we want to retrieve the slide from our frame. We're going to pull out that recoil spring, and we're going to pull out the barrel. Okay, at this point, we can make some quick visual inspections to see like how dirty is the gun, maybe inspect all the parts, make sure stuff is in working order. Once I'm confident everything's the way I want it to be, then we can start cleaning. Usually I start with the barrel. I'll check the barrel. Yeah, actually this is actually pretty clean. I haven't shot this gun very much, honestly. So if it's really fouled up, I'll get a nice plastic, or you could use a brass brush, I guess. Most people are using a plastic type brush, so we're not working on those riflings too much. You can run that in there a couple times and then run a good swab. There's so many cleaning solvents out there now, like I couldn't even tell you which one is right for you. There's too many to suggest. I know a lot of folks will just get a CLR, which is clean, I don't remember what it is. Clean lubricate and protectant or whatever, CLP, I guess that's what it is. And they'll spray it in there and then they'll clean it, which is fine. Any kind of lubricant is obviously going to be good when you're done. So clean that barrel out. If you're using patches, once those patches come out clean, then you know the barrel's clean. And then we'll just move our way to the slide. Now, a lot of times in your slide, especially particularly on handguns, you're gonna get a lot of carbon buildup on the breech face, is what this is called. So your ejection port, obviously you're gonna get a lot of gases and stuff coming out there. You're gonna see the most, probably the most dirtiness coming from there. So if you have an old toothbrush or something with some solvent, you can hit that with a toothbrush, kind of scrub off those areas. Make sure that your extractor claws is good. I don't know if you can see this. There's a little hook right here. Yeah, it's hard to see. The camera's not going to focus. Anyway, make sure that extractor claw is good. That means it's the thing that pulls the spent casing out of the chamber of the barrel. Anyways, you might as well inspect that all while you're there and get it clean. Once you're confident that you've got your rails clean and everything else in the slide looks good, then that's pretty much it. You can move over to your frame. Maybe there's some carbon buildup around your above your trigger housing where all the explosions happen there. You might have to take a little bit of solvent and just kind of scrub that clean. You don't want to go crazy, right? You don't want to throw a bunch of oil and stuff in there either, because it might interfere with how that trigger works. So you need to refer to your owner's manual on oiling locations, because some guns are a little finicky on where they need oiled. All right, so let's say I've got everything cleaned. I'm ready to reassemble my handgun. So as I like to oil the entire barrel. Okay, I like to oil the outside of the barrel, especially if I'm just going to keep it in my safe. It's not that big of a deal if you have a little bit of a extra oil on the metal of your gun. It just means it's going to be a little bit more protected. So I'll oil pretty much the entire outside of the barrel, everything. And then I'll go ahead and slide that into my frame. Now, some folks really debate whether or not they want to oil their recoil springs. I can't remember what Glock says. I don't think Glock says to do it manufactured. It's up to you. Would it hurt to put a little dab of oil in there? Probably not. It'd probably be just fine. Again, if you're planning on leaving it long term in a safe, it's probably a good idea to just get a little wet there. So insert the spring back in there, and then I'm not going to show this on screen because I'll probably get in trouble. But you get the sound, okay? I've oiled my rails. Make sure you oil the rail. I didn't talk about that. Make sure to oil the rails where they meet the frame, because you want that to be nice and lubricated as well. You can definitely feel the difference between a dirty gun and a clean gun at this point, hopefully. But as you can tell, yeah, sounds good to me. Anyway, that's just a really basic demonstration of how to field strip and clean your handgun. Again, some manufacturers recommend certain things, so you might have to refer to your owner's manual to really get the detailed cleaning instruction. Obviously, there's tons of stuff online you can find as well. In my opinion, handgun maintenance, well, any firearm maintenance, obviously should be a priority. You spend a lot of money on a gun. If it's something you're using to depend your life on, you should really make sure that that's going to work when you need it to work. So maintenance on a defensive tool is the utmost importance, in my opinion. Anyways, I probably missed something. What do you guys think? Let me know below. Anyways, whatever. It'll be a good time. Anyway, guys, there it is. Handgun maintenance. See you on the next one.